this is my current bench top, and it served me well. I think it's time for an upgrade. So, just a bit of background. I actually originally made this bench for doing wood turning demonstrations, and yeah, it just ended up being my main bench because it was portable. So, just slowly and surely taking this bench apart, making sure there's no nails or anything sticking up, and then removing the cast iron vise. So the plan here, and I'll show you an image in a few moments, is to replace it with a top more consistent with a traditional woodworker's vise that'll have dog holes and an end vise. So yeah, that's that guy done. So this is the design I'm doing for this. Now I did have my usual time lapse of me sketching this from scratch, but the camera wasn't on. So the first step is to get the materials. Now I've been planning to do this for a long time, so I'd already bought the stuff for this, so technically it didn't cost me anything, but So the boards on top of this are all the same length, so there's just a series of repetitive cuts. The best way I found to do this is to cut one piece with two square ends the exact length I want, and then I mark everything else off that. That's the easiest way to make sure everything is the same length, because even the most accurate tapes, if you're measuring with a pencil and cutting, you're going to have a little bit of left and right. So that's what I do for all of these. Oh, 13 I believe. So when I have all these cut to length, I lay them out the way that they best fit and look best, making sure to alternate the grain, which will help reduce cupping. I also gave these a run on the jointer just to give the best possible joints I can in the middle. Normally these plain 4-sides timbers are pretty good. So once I have it right, it's very important that I mark it in a way that I can put it back the way I want it. So to do that, what you normally do is draw a triangle and then number them. And here as well, what I do is I mark across all the points where I'm going to put in the biscuits later. That helps me with alignment in several ways. Having that line the whole way down along there means that as I'm gluing it up, I have a proper reference point, so it should reduce the amount I have to cut off. I'll just show you here as well the what that triangle numbering system looks like before I move on. So now it's biscuit time. Sorry, hope you're fans of Flight of the Conchords. So I just find biscuits to be the best alignment tool and joining tool for these kind of things. So I just go along and biscuit everything. I'll skip ahead here to the last one. So the key to a successful glue up, I find, is to plan. So before I even take the glue down out of the rack, I set all of my clamps to the size I need them to be, working out how much of a shim I need to put in. Now in this case, because it's only a bench top, I don't put a shim in on these. I'm not worried about it getting marred. So again, I just set these babies to where they need to be. And on the metal of these, I have just clear packing tape. This stops glue sticking to them and also stops rust transferring onto the thing you're gluing up. So this does take a little bit of time, and I'm going to do a time lapse with the music because it's been a lot of me talking so far. So enjoy. So the next step is to cut out for my vise. So I want the back jaw of my vise to be flush with the front of my aprons. This allows me then to clamp long pieces. So again, I'll just mark that, cut it, biscuit everything together and glue on the aprons. now it's time to put on the new top. So off camera I just trimmed up the ends and added in the additional PVC there for the end vise. So it just sits in place, and then I screw it up from below. You see that in the next shot. So the point of screwing it from the underside is that if I'm doing any cutting on this or drilling into it, which I should avoid, I won't hit any metal. It also gives me free rein to use it anywhere. The vise is mounted the same way it was taken off in reverse, just using coach bolts, so I didn't show that here. So this is just an initial sanding to level it off. After a while I'll go over with a planer and properly level the top once it's adjusted to the temperature. I bring this down to about 180. It's only a bench top, it doesn't really need to be super smooth, but it's nice not to get splinters. So as you can see, the back face of my vise is flush with my apron as I planned. So I found the easiest way to drill through for these is to just clamp everything up in the position you want, and then very carefully with a drill bit that's smaller than the holes already in the vise, just screw through, and that'll give you a perfect positioning. After that then, it's just a matter of widening out those holes and boring for the heads of the flathead machine screws that are used, and then you're good to go. Once everything is flat, a couple of rubs of plane and a bit of a sander, you have a perfect working surface. So we're at feature 1 of this vise. So I'm going to put in a series of dog holes that will receive either dogs or holdfast. And to find the simplest way to make sure these are straight in this situation is to cut a piece at 90 degrees to help me start my drill hole, and then I just check it every once in a while to make sure I'm still going down square. So there's quite a lot of these to drill, and I do so. And when it's done then, I just go over it just to make it look nice with a router, and just chamfer the edges. So feature number 2 of this bench top is going to be the adjustable end stop. So where I put in this hole here defines how much travel I'm going to have. These end stops are very handy for planing material on the face. So what I do here is I drill a hole, 2 holes where my vise face is going to run. The height of this hole dictates how much travel you're going to have. And I'd line it up then and just mark it for the receiving bolts using a long marking marker. So to transform this into a functional end stop, I need to turn these holes into slots. So this is very simply done. You just mark down with a square edge from the edge of the existing hole, and then take the excess out using the bandsaw. So I've drilled these holes about a mil bigger than I need them to be for the bolt. This gives me a good bit of up and down freedom and help. So these are the stud bolts that I was talking about. These ones are quite handy because they have a little star head in the top which allows you to put them in with a drill. You can see there then when I sweep around, 2 of them done, and the matching slots in the end stop. So the very last step is to make the knobs for adjusting and locking the end stop. So I'm just using a simple template I found online, and then just with a combination of a drill and the bandsaw I get the shape I need. And then in the very center of that I put in a threaded insert. You can actually see it there in the bottom of the frame. So that threaded insert just screws in to the wood and then threads onto the machine bolts. This makes it a much hardier connection and means it won't wear out. If I had it in the timber, it would wear out very quickly and I wouldn't be able to get my vise very tight. So I cut this out roughly, then do a lot of sanding because anything that's touching your hand needs to be perfectly smooth. You can see there then the whole thing going together, how quick and easy it is. It's very simple system. Now of course you can buy these knobs very easily, but I had the timber and the inclination to do it. So yeah, that's that. It's time to do my favourite part, finishing. I do like red deal. It does look really nice when you put a bit of oil on it. I will put some music over this, but just seeing the timber come alive is entertainment in and of itself. But I was very happy with how this came out, and it should make my work an awful lot easier in the future, and you will be seeing it quite a lot. Well, in fact in absolutely every project I do from now on, because it's my bench. But yeah, if any tips, tricks, or comments, let me know in the comments. Yeah, comments, that makes sense. Bye!